This is the BK Lounge Podcast. Welcome to laughs, love, and crazy debates by your two favorite hosts, Burt and Kenny. Join us in talks about military life, relationships, golf life, and so much more. Your new favorite place to come hang out on Sundays. Introducing the BK Lounge Podcast, a Burt's Beat Studios production. And now your hosts, Burt and Kenny.
Well, hello.
Hi, people. Happy Sunday. Sunday.
Episode 14.
14. Crazy.
Wow. And 14th episode, 900 followers.
Bang.
900. Just like that.
Can you believe that?
Can you believe it?
Can you believe it?
That's exciting.
Thank you to the people.
Thank you to the people. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for all the follows, all the subscriptions, all of the love. Welcome in.
We thank you.
We thank you a lot.
We shall give thanks.
To the people.
To the people.
To the people. But episode 14.
Yeah.
I don't even need notes for a recap of last week.
Yeah, lay it on us.
Last week we had a little special...
Also...
What?
I get you new socks and you choose to wear the ones with the holes in the bottom.
Well, it's not a full hole yet. It's just...
But I can see your skin.
It's just thin. It's not... Wow, it looks worse in the light.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
'cause I just outed myself like that. But it's not a hole because I don't feel the cold of the ground yet. Once I feel the cold of the ground,
No, it's time.
then I know I need to replace the sock.
No, it's time. I think it's
How's this
time.
one look? Oh, was that a hole? No, just a little thin spot. Because if I went through socks
Grow up.
that went thin,
Grow
we'd
up.
be spending so much money on socks.
I would prefer us to spend money on socks on the things that we need rather than the stuff that we don't need.
Anyway,
Well,
recap.
yeah, what do you think about that?
What things do we get that we don't need?
You want me to start listing?
Give me 3 quick ones that are legitimate.
Your storage unit in Vermont, your vehicle.
We're hogtied in the vehicle.
We don't have to be. Your spending when I'm not home.
Spending when you're not home?
I went into that shed today.
Oh, you went to the shed?
I did go in the shed. You know what I did with my brother-in-law?
What?
We put the tree out there that I've been asking for somebody to put away for 2 months since you forced me to take it down. But that shed
Yeah?
is full.
Of what?
Your junk.
Our junk.
No, your junk, because before you moved, that shed only had one thing in it.
A lawnmower and a couch.
2 things in it. Lawnmower and a couch.
And now it has our stuff,
No.
my stuff, your stuff,
Your stuff.
the stuff that we have purchased for our home.
Golly.
Golly. What a way
Good grief.
to start a podcast.
Yeah.
Last episode, as I was doing a recap, special edition question and answer.
Yeah.
With the people, write-ins. It was fun. Kenny got to ask some of her weird questions like she always does. Any random weird questions popping into your head right now?
No, honestly, I thought of the same one.
The lizard one?
Yeah, just came right back into my head. I think it's the background and feeling like I'm a lizard.
You're a lizard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like some sort of salamander creature. I don't know. Do you ever feel like you're something like that?
The only thing I ever really feel like that I am is a plastic bag just drifting through the wind.
But you're a thief if you use that line because that's not your line. That's a...
Well, me and Katy Perry were pretty close.
No, you're not.
Yeah,
You
she has a
don't know
cat.
her.
I do. She has a cat, and it's named Kitty Purry, so we're pretty close.
What does that have anything to do with you?
Some people don't know that Katy Perry has a cat named Kitty Purry. It might have died by now. I used this fact back in high school.
Probably not. You don't keep up with her. Maybe you do. I don't know. But
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't.
that's strange.
I don't. I don't really know.
But let's recap. Let's recap this business. You want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay. Question and answers. That was really good. I love questions and answers because a lot of times I'm just asking ridiculous questions to everybody and nobody in the same breath. Because there's times where I'm asking you stuff and you're like, why?
Yeah, there's just questions I would never expect just driving down the interstate.
But it was good. It was good to hear what everybody had to ask us.
Yep.
And I love that because that's the whole reason why we're doing this. We don't, we talk outside of this room and outside of this podcast
That we do.
sometimes.
Sometimes more than others.
But I think all at the same time is we do this to interact and have an understanding of what everyone wants to talk about. If it's the news, if it's our lives, if it's our struggles, if it's, business related, whatever it might be. There's really no category to our podcast. So it's always good to kind of...
The everything pod.
The everything. I love that.
Because when people ask, like, oh, what do you guys talk about on your podcast? I really never know what to say.
Yeah.
I just say, like, we talk about literally everything and we try to make it as relatable as possible.
Yeah. So, like, if you were to say one of your favorite questions from last week, what would you say was your favorite question?
My favorite question? Ooh, that's a tough one.
I really liked the questions about my job and, like, managing people.
Yep.
I thought that was pretty good.
I like kind of piggybacking off of yours a little bit is like when they were talking about the military and like do I think I would still be in if I wasn't doing this or that. That kind of got my brain moving in a different sense because I really hadn't thought about that. So it was kind of a get the brain old chugging along.
Yeah. Bottom line is like a lot of the answers, and the more I thought about it as the podcast had ended and I kind of listened back, is like everything truly happens for a reason. Good, bad, ugly, whatever it might be, is I'm like a firm believer that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
So it's like hard to be like, oh, what if?
Right.
It's like you could play the what if game.
About literally anything.
Anything. I was just talking about that with my sister the other night as I was like, you could literally what if any situation.
Yeah.
But
like what if our power goes out right now in the middle of our podcast?
Yeah, what if?
We can't get all crazy about the what if.
No, you can't. I don't know. So, it was good. We really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I liked it. It was kind of off the cuff, last minute decision. I think it was a great game time decision. Because we always want questions, like Kenny was saying. So,
right.
We love a good Q&A sesh. We love write-ins too. Take a minute, follow our socials, join our Discord, write into us, ask questions, situational questions, whatever it is. Write into us.
Right. So, yeah. But other than that, that was pretty much the recap was questions. So make sure you go back and listen if you didn't join us last week. I know that our social media has been a little bit quiet, and that's what we're going to revolve this episode about. It was a crazy week.
Well, it's been like a crazy 2 weeks for you.
It's just been, yeah. I think February and March are just crazy.
And then it's going to be another crazy week, followed by another crazy week, rolling into season for you. Yeah,
no, it's going to be brutal, and I don't know how I feel about all of it, but we're going to just grip the guardrails and let it rip. Yeah. So, but other than that, I mean, it's been good, but we're going to kind of talk about why we've been a little quiet this week. You haven't streamed as much.
No.
Socials have been a little quiet. We're all okay.
Everything's Gucci flip-flops.
But as you can probably hear in the background, there's a little voice out there, and it's my nephew, Harrison. So my sister, my brother-in-law, and my oldest nephew, Harry, are here with us in this house right now. But they've been looking at homes. So my brother-in-law got here early last week.
Thursday, Friday?
No, Tuesday.
Oh yeah, today's Sunday. Correct.
Yeah. So he got here Tuesday, and you two we're hanging out through the week.
Gallivanting, eating, drinking, exploring the town.
Correct.
And it's been nice for me because I haven't really done a whole lot of exploring myself. So with him here, I got to see places that I haven't seen and done. So that was great. I enjoyed it.
So That has been the first part of the week. Then my sister and my nephew came in on Friday.
Yep.
They all leave tomorrow, which is unfortunate, but it's also exciting because they've kind of started to narrow down some places, some things. They saw what they liked, they saw what they didn't like, so having them here has been awesome. And also I got to enjoy some one-on-one time with my nephew Harry, just him and I, and then all of us together, which I love because that's one of like the biggest things for me about them considering moving down here is I will get to be a full-time auntie again, which I always am, but having them nearby is something that I'm very, very, very excited for. I'm obviously excited to be around, my sister and my parents and my brother-in-law, but I'm very excited for both of my nephews and my niece to be in the same area so that we can do fun auntie things. So,
and it's been cool because we've been kind of tagging along here and there when they have been going into houses, and we get to kind of see what houses are like around here, because obviously we're going to be looking in the next year, but just to see what, towns have what to offer, neighborhoods, housing layouts. Like, we're used to back home in Vermont with housing being A, super expensive, and B, having basements.
Right.
And here, basements aren't really a thing unless you're on a slope.
Yeah.
And there's a walkout.
Yeah.
But here, there's no basements, obviously, other than the walkouts. And then they have, like, huge bonus rooms, which I love.
Yeah.
I'd almost rather have a bonus room than a basement. I think it's the same thing, just different, really.
No, I wouldn't.
No?
No. I would prefer not. But that's just because I don't know, a bonus room is just something strange to me. It's just like a second living room, but upstairs.
Right.
And I don't really find a purpose in that. But that's just me. I also don't have a studio, and I don't have an office, and I don't stream. We have a podcast, but at the same time, it's like, that's kind of what you would use that room
Right,
for.
because when I think of a bonus room or a basement, I think of a bigger setup for the stream and more of a larger setup for the studio.
Right.
Which is exciting.
But yeah, so some of those houses have been crazy to see, and like there's some things that we've seen that we like, and there's some things that we've seen that we don't like.
Yeah.
So like the kind of happy medium, and like they're obviously looking for a family of 5, and the house that we buy will be for the family of 2 and 2 dogs.
Right.
So it's definitely very different from when we start looking, but it's kind of cool to see some, different aspects of how things look here, and kind of some good and bad things for the things that we see for our future.
Right. It was crazy. The last house that we actually met them at, there was a pet pig in the backyard.
Yeah, they had a pet pig.
It was awesome. Scarlet, I think its name was.
No, Stella.
Stella. I don't know why I was so stuck on Scarlet. It was oinking and moving its nose. It was
I touched his little nose.
Yeah, I was like, I'm down for a pig.
Yeah. No, that pig was sweet. Their backyard was sweet. There was like a giant pool, basketball court. They had a movie theater upstairs.
Yeah, they used their bonus room and they built like 2 small steps with a flat spot for like sectionals, which was pretty cool to see. Great use of a.
The Costco couch would fit perfect in that room. You imagine? Imagine if we had one.
Maybe when we get a house and if we have a bonus room,
Costco, those couches will be long gone.
We'll get the newest and greatest Costco couch for the podcast couch.
What a swing and a miss we did there. How unfortunate is that?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no. So it's been interesting to see. I did love that last house.
Yeah, it was very nice. It was very nice.
If out of all the houses if we were looking for us, I loved that house.
Yep, agreed.
I did.
In a cul-de-sac, it was awesome. It was awesome.
But no.
But they're going through a lot, and they're feeling a lot of different things, obviously, because it's a huge transition.
Yeah, it's a lot for everybody. We talked about it at lunch today. It's a lot for my sister and her family to process that and, feel those emotions. They've never been, outside of the state as a family. My sister lived in Boston, but, my brother-in-law hasn't, and, bringing their kids and making sure that everything is what they want it to be for their future and their lives, and, also mourning the fact that they're leaving certain family and doing all of that. And it's a lot. That's a huge transition. And, like, it's a lot for me because I'm like, I never really ever thought that this would be a possibility. I always thought that, like, I would move home or we would move home when it was time for us to have a family, and, like, that never was that appealing to me.
Yeah.
In the sense of, like,
but it was just more of
job, lifestyle, all of that, but, like, I would never raise my kids,
right,
or, like, my future family away from my family or our families.
Agreed.
And then, like, on top of it, like, my parents are looking to, like, retire soon and do all of that, but so, like, all three of us within this transition, and then my brother's out in Montana, so he kind of, like, secludes himself a little bit, but, like, out of all of us, like, it's a big transition, like, to even have, like, the thought that, like, both my parents and my sister will be, like, down the road and, like, a car ride away. I'm like, oh my God, I never thought that this was going to, like, happen like this.
Right, because they have to think about not only the house, making sure it's what they want, but then it comes down to, like, all right, is it a good yard?
Mm-hmm.
Is it in a good neighborhood?
Right.
Is the surrounding area good? Are the schools good? And, like, obviously we haven't experienced that, but, like, when you moved from Vermont to Florida, like, what was that transition like for you?
Oh my God, it was terrifying. Like, and I think I'm not going to, like, toot my own horn by any means, but I did 2 moves absolutely alone.
Right.
Nobody at the finish line waiting for me. Nobody there to, like, help me, like, settle in, sink in, feel my emotions, help me process. I did when I moved to Charlotte because I had Jess.
Right.
But, like, we both were coming into a place that we had nothing.
Right. Yeah.
Nothing. And so it's like, we're going to restaurants that we've been to, that I've been to. We're going to parts of town that, like, we, like, and, like, that's, like, the really good thing that I'm, like, excited for, because I get to show, like, my family, like, the great things about where we live that, like, I think that they would enjoy. But no, I'm like, it's all very different. And I when I moved to Florida, I was like, this is the most vulnerable thing.
Yeah.
And, like, everybody feels it. Like, you felt it, they're gonna feel it, they already do
Yeah,
feel
I mean,
it.
I don't think I ever felt, like, the true feeling that you did by any means, because I remember, like, there were opportunities for me to move early on in the my military career. That was my biggest, like, no point was, like, I don't want to go alone. I don't know anything. I don't know anybody.
Right.
And I remember asking Jocelyn, like, how do you do it? Because Jocelyn was always pushing me to like go do and make changes and stuff.
Talk about somebody that takes full leap.
Yeah, and she did. And she's like, when I got to my house in Morrisville, when I moved to Vermont, she's like, I sat in my kitchen with boxes all around me, and she's like, I just cried my eyes out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, see, like, that scares the crap out of me.
Yeah.
And granted, I know, just like you and Joss and everybody, eventually it gets better. Eventually you get out there and you explore and you meet people like Joss did me and you did, other people. But it's just like that initial leap to me is beyond scary.
Yeah, oh my God. It's like you're just taking a leap of faith at that point.
And I wasn't ever ready in my life when those opportunities came up to truly leave.
Right.
Because before I moved down here and we decided to...
You almost have to, like, not think about it. You can't over-prepare because then it, like, makes it worse.
Right. Because I remember I was looking before you and I got together of, like, there was an opportunity for me to possibly take a position in Tennessee that I was, like, kind of all for, was ready for a change, was ready to get out of Vermont finally, and that didn't really work out. And then coming down here was kind of a quick turnaround in a sense, but it was always something that we had talked about, whether it was Florida or, eventually here. And it was nerve-wracking for me, but there were so many other things that I was trying to do and wanted to accomplish that it made leaving so much easier.
Right.
And I also had you to come here to, where it wasn't just like, hey, I got here.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And, like, I think about, like, it's funny how you say that, like, the situation with, like, Joss and, like, how she cried and stuff like that. And, like, it's not even, like, crying because you have a certain emotion. It's like you have so many emotions, your body has no idea what to do.
It just pours out.
I remember, like, I didn't unpack my car when I moved to Florida for 3 months. 3 months. I had a suitcase with my clothes, my golf clothes. I took my golf bag out.
And left everything else on.
Everything else was in my car. And it looked like I lived out of my car. Granted, I did.
Right.
And, like, I had an air mattress in my apartment. I refused to get a bed for the first month. And I was just like, yeah, not gonna happen.
Right.
And then I ended up, like, it was literally, like, my second week in Florida. And I went to go get groceries at Target. And I, like, pulled in and I put it in park. I looked in my rearview mirror, couldn't see out the back window. And I sat there and I cried for, like, 2 hours. I called my sister. I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And she was just like, I mean, no matter what you think you can't do, you can.
Right.
And she was like, you could get back in the car and come home.
Right.
You could go back to your apartment, go to bed, and go to work in the morning. You could go for a walk. You could go and just get your groceries and just cry it out through the aisles. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But, like, nothing's going to cripple you to the point where you can't do it.
Right. And it takes a lot of courage.
It does. And, like, that's why it's, like, almost, like, rip the Band-Aid off, almost shock the system, jump into it, and then feel it. Because, like, the more you, like, build it up and you're like, oh, my God, oh, my God, oh, my God, then it's going to feel like, oh, my God.
Right. It just heightens it even more. But even, like, in, like, small, not necessarily, well, I guess, obviously, smaller scale. Like, when I deployed, obviously, I knew I was coming home.
Right.
But I was going alone. I was the only person in my shop going.
Mm-hmm.
I was the head honcho, had never deployed before, was going to be in charge of all these people in a place that I didn't know, didn't have any real bearings of what the expectation was. It was obviously, night and day from Vermont with responsibility and operations and all that kind of stuff. But I remember getting over there and just trying to keep it together because I was the head guy and there were, 4-year airmen that had deployed more than me and had more experience than me in that. And I was just trying to keep it together.
Right.
Because I was so overwhelmed, didn't know up from down, didn't know where to start, how to start it. And then honestly just buried myself in the job there.
Yeah. It's almost like if you move for, like, a career rather than just being like, oh, I love this place.
Right.
Stick your head in the mud and kind of just work your way through it.
Right. And I honestly think, the more I think about it, I think that's kind of what I'm doing here. Like, I'm diving with the decision of going full-time streaming, of just being like, I don't know this opportunity. Nothing is guaranteed with this opportunity. I'm in a new place. I don't have a lot of loves in the area of, like, things that I'm doing or things that I could be doing. So I'm just absolutely submerging myself. But then I think of times like exploring with Justin, because he even was like, hey, have you just gotten in the car and, like, explored? And I was like, no, I haven't. He's like, why don't you? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. And I've enjoyed every second of it because I'm seeing new places. I'm eating new food. I'm seeing new things that you and I can do. Like, Justin and I went and got lunch one place, and I was like, Kenny would love this.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny would love this. Like, there's so much opportunity for me to do that and, like, find places that I enjoy and do, but then also find things for us. So it's like, hey, Jensen, I found this cool spot. Like, let's go explore this spot I found.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to find new places too.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and I think that's a big thing of just, like, watching other people do it is, like, for me, there's a lot that I already do know because I did those things.
Right.
Like, I've done my exploring. I've done, we go to the places that I enjoy already. But, like, I haven't looked for anything new because I've looked at a lot of stuff.
Right.
It's just, like, the places where we've gone for a walk up in Morrisville or, at any ends of the spectrum of that is just, like, I think that everybody will find their own rhythm and do their own things and explore in their own time outside of like what I need or what they need, or if like Justin needed to go do all of these things because it made him feel better.
Right.
And like kind of eased him into the whole process before, you know, Katie and Harry got here.
Right.
Which made the experience a little bit better for him.
Yep, the transition smoother and all that kind of stuff.
And like for you and what you do is like you haven't gotten there yet. You've been going through a lot. You've been feeling your own like things, like even like we've talked about it before, but you love your boat. You love your boat.
Yeah.
But you don't utilize your boat. And for like what reason?
Right.
It's like you could go take your phone if you have business calls with the people that you talk to throughout the day, grab a sandwich and go sit on your boat
Right.
and take the calls on the boat. It's like
No, absolutely.
there's really no reason, but you have to do that on your time.
Right. And like I think about, you know, obviously the last 30 years being in Vermont, like I grew up there, I lived there, I worked there, I explored there, so everything was just there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so comfortable with it. I had people, I had things. It's just in a sense of like me trying to get out of my own shell in a very, very new place that I know nothing about.
Right.
To a degree scares me because I don't know left from right. I don't know town to town. I don't know area to area. And I think it's just, again, getting that feeling of, all right, you've got 1 foot in, now get 2, now get a little deeper, and just keep doing it. And things like this where family come into town and I get to ride around with them and explore too only helps motivate me to do those things on my own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you never really know what you're going to find and what you're going to feel, especially if you're forced to do it.
Right.
So, like, I mean, I get that.
Because there's so many times where it's like, hey, let's go do dinner somewhere, and I just am flying off the seat of my pants of Google when I could be, you know, driving around finding spots that are, you know, hot spots or busy spots where it's like, this looks like a great place to eat. Instead of going off of a stock picture on Google and the menu being like, yeah, this will be great. And then we run into times where like we did that one dinner on the top of that hotel and it was awful.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, we're still going to run into situations where we don't have great meals or it's not a great atmosphere or whatever, but there's probably less probability of it happening if you do the exploration with it.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that it will be good for you to find things for yourself, not just for us, not just for me. And I think that will come with time.
Yeah.
Because that is something, you know, we even talked about it the other week, is like, you love to get your hair cut. And you just don't think about it. You kind of submerge yourself into your work and your job and stuff like that. And I'm like, when was the last time that you got a haircut the other week? And you're like, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's kind of different because I always wanted to get my hair cut back home. And it sounds terrible to say, but it's because I was at work and I could leave the job that I wasn't really happy at for an hour.
But you loved it.
Yeah. And even when I go get a haircut here, I love it. My barber's awesome. I usually get breakfast at the spot next door. I love it.
If I worked from home, and I was a boy, I would be going to the barber like every other week.
and that's what I did back home. It was every 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. It was every 2 weeks.
But yeah, no. So it's been good. It's been like very busy, and we're getting back into it starting Thursday with my parents. So they all leave tomorrow, and then my parents come in on Thursday. But I will not be here for the full time that my parents are here.
Oh yeah, the podcast doesn't know.
Podcast doesn't know.
Tell them.
It's been some big news.
Exciting news.
Big news. My PGA portfolio finally got approved. So I'm going to Texas next week.
Yep.
One last time.
One last hurrah.
And everything will start moving forward from here.
Yeah.
It kind of just like got the email, called the next day, they put me in the class, paid for all the stuff.
Well, it wasn't even that at first. You didn't think you were going to be able to get into this class.
No, I thought I was going to have to wait until May.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I will say that I was very defeated.
Oh, I know.
And I was like very like.
Absolutely.
like really mad at the situation, at myself, at kind of everything. And I was just like, this is just...
Because you had your sights set on this class for a while.
I had my sights set on February.
Right.
And then I was like, I have March or I have May.
Yep.
There's no April. And I was like, that stinks. Because
Right.
it's going to go from this one and then 7 weeks until the next one.
Right. And you're trying to get this hammered out because you have the season coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're already getting ready for it.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like before you even submitted your portfolio, you were hammering that.
Yeah.
Kenny would come home from a 8, 10, 12-hour day. Immediately we'd eat dinner. Kenny would jump right into her book work until midnight, 1 o'clock, and that was every single day. Wake up, go to work for 7, come home at 6, 7, 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
More book work. She absolutely hammered it out.
Yeah.
And then I was excited that you got it done and was like waiting for the grade, and then you were like, yep, it's graded. Like, now we just got to wait. And then you're like, class is full. And I was like, no way. No way. Because I know how hard you were working and how important it is, especially with the timing and what you're trying to accomplish and what you're trying to get ready for.
Yeah.
Like, it was awful to hear because I knew it's huge. It's huge for you.
Yeah.
Big part of your career.
So, I mean, this is a big part into my next step, which I'm trying not to really speak too much into existence, and that's kind of been the big push. And there's a lot of people that I could thank for pushing me to get to this point, because I could have just thrown my hands up and been like, I will gradually finish it. But
Right,
like,
you'll get to it when you get to it kind of thing.
It's been like going for undergrad and then going for a 2-year master's. It's been almost 6 years that I've been in this like in between period, and through COVID it made it hard, and I was working in Florida, which made it impossible just because golf and work never ends there. And then I came here and I was like, I need to finish my book work, and it's been 2 years since I've been here, and I finished 2 levels.
Yeah, when I say you hammered that, it wasn't like on Tuesday you did a little bit and then Friday you picked it back up. This was like day after day after day after day of like.
Yeah, and
you did it for so long that you watched the entire, all of Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
that's how hard she was grinding.
From August to, well, technically not full of August, but I've watched every season of Grey's Anatomy.
Yep.
I rewatched all Yellowstone, so I've watched all of the seasons of Yellowstone again. I've watched all of Game of Thrones, and
Game of Thrones, for those who don't know, is like over 8 seasons.
And Grey's Anatomy is 18.
Right.
So that's what 2024 brought me, was I watched a lot of programs.
But it's not like, and like you kind of talked about it the other day, you it's not necessarily like you were binge watching them. It's more of like in the background where you can kind of take a little break, dive into the show, but it doesn't distract you so much where you're not doing your work.
Yeah. It wasn't like, none of those shows are like something that where you like have to stop, like put your like phone or any distraction you have to watch to have like an understanding. Is like you can watch it. I had it in the background, like I would work, I would look up, I would work, I would look up. But like I do not do well in like quiet, like, because then I'm
sterile.
Yeah, then I'm searching for something to like distract me.
Right.
Rather than I have it here, and then I have my work here, and then I kind of
all on her MacBook, just lounging on the couch. Like I can't do work like that, and I don't know if it's because I've been spoiled with having crazy computer setups. But like something like that, I have one thing on one screen, one thing on another, and maybe a show on the other. But yeah, you absolutely cooked through that. Yeah.
So, but no, I'm very excited. I'm very, very, very excited, and it's big. And hopefully, when I come back, I can take the test. I can get my Class A. It's just I'm one test away. I am one test away, which is insane.
It's big.
PGA. soon to be.
Kenny Hambo, PGA.
Yeah. And then from there, I am hoping for movement in my job, in my career, which is never guaranteed. But with being Class A, it will allow
endless doors to open.
Literally endless opportunity for me in my future.
Yeah.
So like that in itself is very exciting for me.
Yeah.
Because if I kind of just kicked my feet up, lounged it, being like, hey, I'm going to get this like title, this job, like this position, my future would be like, okay, like you're not,
right.
You don't have this.
Right.
But like,
right.
I get the logo next to my name, I get PGA, and I apply for different positions. Then for those who aren't that,
right, you're a step ahead.
It puts me ahead of them.
You're on the top of the stack. On top of the stack. And like you've been crazy busy the last like 3 weeks with work, your book work, family's in town now, a few days of somewhat normalcy, your parents come into town, you leave for Texas, you come back from Texas, I'll most likely go see Joss at the end of the month. April rolls around, season for you is here.
Oh, it's here.
I'm going to Texas in April for Ben's bachelor party. Your sister and her family might be back down, like, chugging.
I think 2025 is going to be absolute pure chaos.
Pure chaos.
Not in chaos and like where it's like, oh my God, I don't know where I am. I don't even know what my name is at this point. It's going to be more of like, there's just a lot of moving pieces. But hopefully there will be time for relaxation and like kind of like just chilling at certain points. Like it's going to emphasize just, hanging around.
Yeah. But because what else is this month?
Our anniversary.
What?
Yeah. 1 whole year.
It's also kind of crazy to think about that in itself.
Yeah, it feels like 50.
I was going to say it feels like 3 quick months. Yeah, 1 year.
Been dragging.
It's
been dragging.
One year. Our anniversary is this month.
23rd.
23rd. Crazy.
March 23rd.
1 year down, 100 to go.
Yep. For sure. But yeah, no, our anniversary is this month, which nothing crazy.
Just a year.
It's just a year. Just a year. Calm down. What do people get for like their first year anniversary? Like what's like the thing?
I don't know. I was thinking more of like before the season starts we take like a trip to the mountains or something.
No, the season already started. I had my first tournament of the year.
You did yesterday.
Yeah.
Scratch that idea.
And the mountains are like still not there, so.
I mean, I think maybe just like a nice dinner.
Yeah. I hate that idea.
You hate the idea of going to a nice dinner for our 1 year anniversary. Something that we've been trying to do for a while.
Dinner?
No, be together.
I'd rather go to the spa.
For our 1 year.
Yep.
Okay.
Because this past year I've been tense in my shoulders and my neck.
Sign me up. I'm down.
I'd rather do that than dinner.
We'll do it then.
Because I know what you mean by dinner.
What?
Big fancy dinner. I don't like that.
I didn't say big fancy dinner.
I know you.
We're not going to Applebee's, but we're also not going and getting a $210 filet either.
Yeah. You say that now. I love how you put on like a facade that like you don't like doing that.
Do I enjoy going to a nice dinner?
Nice fancy dinner.
Nice fancy dinner once a year maybe?
Don't even say that.
When was the last time we went to a fancy dinner?
You know I hate that.
What do I ask every single weekend? Hey, do you want to go to a fancy dinner?
Because you know I hate that. But if I was like into that, we would be going every week.
No, it's not in the budget. Do I think something like that for our 1 year, or when you get your PGA? Yeah, that's exciting. Let's go celebrate.
I like celebrating in different ways.
Absolutely, and I'd have no problem with that.
I think the dinner is like status quo. I think like when it comes time for us to like have kids, like that's gonna be our like only way for us to like get away and have like a date night. So like why not now that we don't have that, do things that we have more time to do.
No complaints here.
That's just a thought. That's where
No objections. I like it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I went from having an awesome massage place in Vermont once a month to not, and I'm down for the spa. Let's do it. I'm down. Ain't no complaints here.
Massage and facials.
Never had a facial.
You need one.
Why? Because I have one on my cheek right now?
Ingrown hairs. You've been growing your beard. People like the slippers. But yeah, no, so Texas next week, baby. Texas forever.
Texas forever.
Throw them up. Go give it to them. Texas forever. Hook them. Yeah.
And I was talking with Joss. I was like, hey, Kenny's going to Texas. Kind of all happened quick. She's going to come home. I'm going to come visit for her.
Maybe I'll go meet Pretzel before you.
Yeah, I'm going to be pissed about that. Joss got a new pug.
Pretzel.
Pretzel and Nugget.
Pretzel and Nug.
Crazy.
Nuggetti.
Nuggetti spaghetti and Nugget nugget.
Huh?
Yes.
Yeah. But.
Yeah, a lot of transitions. Big time transitions.
Yeah, Renee said maybe that she'll meet me before she meets you.
Imagine
that.
Joss says Kenny's for sure meeting Pretz before. Sorry, Nick. She was also like, yeah, I'm going to text Kenny. I want to see her.
Yeah.
I know she's going to be busy, but I want to see her.
All of my girlfriends from the last PGA, none of them are going.
No?
No. So I'll be driving down to Joss and Kim.
Absolutely. They'd love to see you.
And Nug and Pretz.
I know that Joss was sad that we all weren't going to be there, but it'll be good for you to see them and then me to go visit afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Joss is... She texted me on the way home just now and was like, I'll pay for your... I don't know what she said. She said, I'll pay for your flight and you buy dinner.
For what, you?
Yeah. And I was like, no, you're not buying my flight. I'm going to pay for dinner because I'm staying with you guys and like you're letting me stay there.
Like when you go and visit?
Yeah.
Or like
when I go to visit. She's like, I'll pay for your flight if you buy dinner. And I'm like, no,
it's like not. Because Joss is like big rolling now and
yeah,
she's like,
that she is, old Lockheed girl.
Yeah.
Not Lockheed. Excuse me, Boeing.
She's an astronaut.
She is. She's going to the moon soon.
Yeah.
Kim would probably love that.
Kim would read so many books.
So many books.
But yeah.
But no, I said no, and she's like, well, how many times did I crash at your place? And I was like,
perfect. You know what you can do?
What?
You can rent a U-Haul, you can drive to Joss, and you can bring her couch back. There you go, Joss.
Free couch coming your way. You can pay for gas.
You can pay for the U-Haul.
Yeah.
That's about it. You can have the couch for free. And him.
Oh, goodness.
So, but yeah.
I'm excited to see her.
No,
I
it'll
hope
be
you
good.
hope you guys can get together at least one night.
Think about the last time that you saw her.
That's what she was saying. She's like, it's been a hot minute. I was like, it's been very many minutes.
It's been almost 2 years.
That's crazy to think about.
Isn't that sad and disgusting?
It is, because literally we worked together. Our offices we shared a wall.
It's
and then
not
a
actually
common
2 years.
space.
That's being dramatic. It's been...
Well, because she deployed before I left.
I know. It's been a year because she deployed from the last time I went home to the time that I went back for Kennedy.
Yeah.
So, that's over a year.
It's been a minute. A hot minute.
A year and some change.
Yeah. It's crazy to think. Again, we went from literally doing everything together to being in different time zones.
It's not. It's just the next time zone.
It's still a different time zone.
It's just the next one.
Sad. Sadness.
You gonna cry?
I haven't let the tears flow in a while.
Yeah. That makes one of us.
What do you think? We have some time for some questions, maybe?
Yeah. Did we say that we were going to talk about anything else other than all of the transition that we're going through with our family and all of that?
I hope there's another transition. My family moving down.
I feel like that's going to be the easiest, though.
You think?
Yeah.
And they're watching. We've seen them chatting in there.
Your parents?
Yeah. Robin's in here, and I saw Stacy in there earlier.
I can bait, cast, reel them in.
You think?
Easy.
I think so, too. I think,
I told you. I said I think the only person that will put up a bigger pull for the meantime will be your mom.
Yeah.
I think your dad, if we were like, we found the perfect spot for you guys.
See, I don't know. I know he wants to anytime.
He's going to retire.
Yeah, he's
and
retiring
then,
in
And then he's
August.
going to be like, what am I doing?
Yeah, what do I do?
When he could come and work for me as a starter, and then he could hang out with me.
Yep, and he would love that.
Yep.
And they're easy. They don't want to buy a house. They don't want to own. They are okay with renting. They love their apartment, whether it be an apartment, a condo, a townhouse. Tons of options down here.
So
I think it's going to happen. And when they're down here in May for the race, plenty of time to start looking. New buildings for townhomes, condos, and apartments going up literally in every town. No shortage of that.
I feel like we're going to get the whole Chittenden County to just transfer.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird and crazy and freaky.
The governor from Vermont's going to call us and be like, what are you doing to our people?
Be like, let's be better.
Yeah.
Mr. Governor.
Let's talk about housing. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about your taxes, your housing, your...
Yeah, property taxes here, $2,000. Up in Vermont, 8, 10, 12,000.
Yeah.
Craziness.
Yeah.
Look at that. Robin Riley, Fort Mills, South Carolina.
What's up with what's
know.
up with our family in Fort Mill?
Everybody wants to go to Fort Mill.
Ugh, no.
Everybody wants to go to Fort Mill. It's nice.
I know why. It's the closest to Charlotte with the taxes in South Carolina.
Yep. And they're thinking about, obviously, retirement taxes and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, no matter where you go, whether it's North Carolina, if you come to North Carolina, your money is going to go way farther. The taxes are already better than Vermont. Your retirement is already better than Vermont. So I think that's a win.
Yeah. The taxes are better in South Carolina. Your retirement dollar is better all of your taxes, your retirement dollar, your Social Security, all of that has a higher value in South Carolina. But it is still within a 25 to 30 minute drive to Charlotte.
Right.
Without
traffic.
Without traffic.
Yeah. Traffic hour.
But yeah, but that is also why Fort Mill is booming because of those reasons.
Right.
Which, understandable.
Yeah.
But I'm not a huge fan, but that's just me.
That's just us. That's just us.
But like, we also have talked about distance from my work, distance from our boat, where we like to be within the city, what we have access to here, and we just feel like
this area is better for us.
This side of the city, greater region, is better for what we want.
Right.
And all of those places are within driving distance, so it makes it good.
It's definitely not as easy as like, hey, you're just down the road, we'll see you in 15 minutes, but it's also way better than, hey, we have to take time off of work, we'll be there for 4 days and then have to come home.
Right.
So, happy regardless.
Right.
But to each their own.
Yeah.
Wherever is closer, that works for us.
Yeah. I think you would have an easier time convincing your mom. I think I would have a better time convincing your dad.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think it's the opposite for my parents. Is I can convince my dad better than I convince my mom.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
that's just in this brain of mine why I think that. But
Yeah.
I don't know. But
Yeah.
so a lot of transition. We're excited and nervous and emotional about all the things that are kind of going on.
Busy, busy, busy.
Yeah, very, very busy. And we're going to start traveling for obvious, like, personal reasons, and which is exhausting in itself. So everybody pray for us.
Pray for us.
But we'll keep chugging along
We always do.
on our podcast and all of our things.
Yep.
And we'll keep you guys in the loop as these weeks hit us
Yeah,
right in the
Joss
face.
will hit me up like every 2 weeks and be like, "Oh my God, there's this opening at Boeing. It pays this much," and I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome. Like, is it remote?" And she's like, "No, you have to move to Texas.
Yeah.
There's so much golf here." I'm like, "Yeah, sure. It's not that easy, Joss."
I'm going to say this, Joss. I'm not a flatlander. And I mean that with a lot of love for everybody that listens in Texas or Oklahoma.
Or anywhere where
or
it's flat.
Any flat place. I remember when I landed in Dallas. And I was like, I was overwhelmed. I felt like an ant. Hated that feeling. I love the food. I love the people. I love the just how Texas lives their life. Like it's their own country. Right. Like,
and on top of that, that is one place I don't think I could convince my parents to go.
No. I couldn't convince mine either.
No.
Oh, and I definitely couldn't convince my sister. No. But,
Yeah.
And I think the difference is, like, I enjoyed San Antonio when we went.
I loved San Antonio when I was down there. Both with you and early on in my career.
But Dallas has never been it for me.
Robin just said, no, Texas is very good to retire. You would hate the heat, Robin.
Hate the heat.
Hate the heat. You hate the Vermont heat, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
And there's no heat.
Have they been they've been to Texas?
Yeah, they were. Well, for when I graduated basic training in August,
they came down. Is that the only time that they've been there?
No, my dad has a sister that's in Texas. They've been there plenty of times, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. But no Texas.
No Texas on the horizon. You never know.
You never know what will happen.
You never know.
Maybe I'll get a PGA headquarters job one day, and I'll be an administrator.
Master PGA-er.
I could be a master PGA. That's the next. I'm gonna take a little break, little deep breath. But I definitely think that I'm gonna try and become a master professional once I get my comma PGA.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, we do have a few extra minutes for some questions.
Yeah, what do you guys got? Any questions about...
Everybody gets shy.
I know, everyone gets shy at the end. Any transitions that we've gone through or transitions that you're going through that you might be struggling with, or why we like the area that we do, or why we want our families to come down, or just random off-the-wall questions? What do y'all have these last few minutes of episode 14?
Quiet crickets.
And here we go. Come on. I can feel it. There's gonna be a couple questions.
No.
Maybe not.
They ain't.
Least favorite thing about traveling. I bet I could say yours.
What?
Flying.
Yeah.
Kenny hates to fly. It's not that she hates it, she just doesn't enjoy it.
Yeah, it doesn't really bring me peace.
I love to fly when nothing goes wrong.
I will say this. I don't even think it's flying. I don't. I think it's the act of getting to wherever I'm going. Because driving, flying, you put me on a train, you put me on a bus, all forms of transportation, I hate that part of it.
Yeah. I love to fly.
It's not even like the flying. I've flown so much.
Yeah.
I've been on flights overseas. I've done flights stateside. I've gone to Mexico. I've done a lot of flying. It's not a matter of being like, I don't fly. I don't put me on a plane. No, I just don't fly easy in the sense of when I'm actually sitting buckled. I'm not going to get up. I'm not going to go to the bathroom. I'm not going to do those things. I'm going to sit. I'm going to keep my headphones in. I'm preoccupied. I feel like a tablet kid. I have my phone, I have a Switch, I have my laptop, I'll watch a movie, but don't ask me to do anything else.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Like, when we fly together, I'm like, don't touch me, don't talk to me. I'm busy.
I think it's just like the chaos of it that I don't enjoy, and then if there's delays or like travel issues, I can't stand that. But flying, I don't have any issues with it. I enjoy the flight. I love the turbulence. I love the takeoff. I love the landing.
I hate waiting for my bag.
Yeah. My mom asked, Stacy wants to know if he can pick his own hours at Raintree.
Yeah, good luck, pal. Yeah. No. So, no. Just remember, I'm still the boss. And I would be ecstatic to be your father's boss.
And he would be ecstatic to work for you.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Are you kidding me? You'd have to tell him to get off the walkie.
You're probably right. But he would put his lunch on my account.
He would. And he'd get like a BLT or like a club sandwich
He'd
daily.
be sitting down and they'd be like, who's the guy in the red shirt eating a sit-down lunch in his staff
and
uniform?
he's like, well, there's 45 minutes in between tea times. I thought I'd just grab a quick bite.
Be like, it's actually raining out. And I'm like, okay, so go home. Nah, I'm scheduled.
Yeah, I'm scheduled.
Okay.
But that wraps up episode 14 of the BK Lounge podcast, y'all. I appreciate everyone tuning in with us. Make sure you're following us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Like, share, review, comment, all that good stuff. Download, helps us out. Check out both of our Instagrams as well as the podcast Instagram. I'm not sure what next Sunday looks like with Kenny's travel, but...
So what we might do is, I'm thinking that maybe we go live in the middle of the week. So we'll put up like a little poll. We can put up a poll now if you want to, or I'll do it on our social media. We'll do it in Discord.
Yeah.
All of the spots, but if you want us to go live earlier in the week...
Ooh, like a midweek one.
If not, we will pre-record it in the middle of the week, and it will be posted by next Sunday at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because my flight leaves at 6 o'clock next Sunday. So, Renee and Joss and Kim and Pretz and Nug, get yourselves ready. Because Big Mama's coming to town.
Big Mama's coming to town.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Texas forever.
Texas forever. Hook 'em.
All right, y'all have a great week. We will see you soon. We love you a ton. Any last words, Kenneth?
No. Love you. Bye.
Y'all be good now.
This has been the BK Lounge Podcast with Burt and Kenny. We hope you enjoyed your time diving deep in on wild topics, listening to crazy stories, and hanging out with us. We'll see you next week live on Twitch. Be sure to check out our website for all our social links at www.thebkloungepod.com. Y'all be good now, and we'll see you next time.